Yo, what's up? Happy New Year. Let's continue to keep doing what it is we say we're going to do. Crush every single goal it is that you have for 2024 and beyond. And first and foremost, I need everybody to do me this favor. Like, subscribe, and turn on all bell notifications with everything that it comes down to the podcast. And I also want to give a special shout out to the three individuals that have all made this happen. Claudia Spivak for setting this up on the back end. Brandon Prust for allowing me into your BP8 fitness home, your family, your friends. And last and not least, big massive shout out to the one and only WilliamsK, who provided all of the angles, all of the video inserts, and more importantly, for just putting this whole magic together. This is all video format, everybody. So let's get it. Let's go. Let's grow. 2024 is here. And check out the podcast. Let's go. New year, 2024. I'm in the gym of, what is this? BP8 Fitness. Brandon Prust, what's going on?
Not much. Everything's good. How are you?
You seem nervous today.
I'm not nervous. I'm cool, calm, collective.
Are you?
Yeah.
The name Prusty, where did that originate from, man?
I think that's hockey. Everybody, you get a last name, but you don't ever say you don't say their actual last name. You say you add a Y or you add an O or you add an ER.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody ever called me Prust except Claudia. Claudia calls me Prust.
Claudia in the building. Yeah. We have no camera on her now. Yeah. But it's all good. It's all good. Smiling face. Congratulations.
But it's sad.
Not anniversary. Congratulations. Proposal. Mm-hmm. You know,
nice little Bahamas proposal.
Right?
Hey?
I remember
not bad.
I voice noted you, and then I didn't realize you were partying and whatnot. My apologies. Sorry there.
Popping champagne.
Right? So it's all good. So you talk about hockey, right? NHL. Well, how did that all start for you? Because I don't really know your origin story of playing in the NHL, even though you played for one of my favorite teams.
Yeah.
The New York Rangers.
New York Rangers?
Yes, sir.
Nice. One of my favorite teams, too. Definitely. Great city. Well, for me, growing up in Canada, I think skating is, I think I started skating as soon as I could walk. So hockey was always something that I loved. My dad used to take me to the London Knights games from when I was, 4 years old. We'd be going to the games every Friday night. So hockey was just, it was bred into me. But I was never, nowadays there's a lot of pressure on kids and parents are really my parents never really pushed me. They were if I played a bad game or if I wasn't really working hard, my dad would, give me shit, but can we swear on here? Or
everybody asks us if we can swear on here. I don't really care.
Yeah, okay. So my dad would give me crap if I, if I wasn't working hard. He would be hard on me that way, but he was never really pressuring me. Even when I said I want to play in the NHL, he's like, all right, well, you got to work hard to do that. That's hard to do. Mm-hmm. So, I never had that, but I just kept going with it. And, I had a couple of good bounces my way, kind of in my teenage years where I ended up getting an invite to London Knights camp. I never got drafted to the OHL. I got invited to camp and ended up making the team. And then from there, once I made the Knights, that the scouts are going to be. It's kind of in your hands after that. I knew as long as I played well and really worked hard, that I could get to the NHL if I worked hard enough. So,
being in the O, what was one of the biggest, or should I say, what was one of the hardest challenges for you in the O?
I think in the O, you start playing some men, right? You're 17, 18, and you're playing 21, 20-year-olds. And then I started fighting in the OHL. That's when I started fighting some pretty big guys. And I never fought in hockey before that. I was never kind of known. I always hit hard. I was always a big, and I was always a good hitter. So when I got to the OHL, I'm hitting guys, smoking guys, and then guys are like, well, we can fight now. So I had to learn how to fight, and I ended up being very, very good at it. So that was something that came natural to me and ended up helping me get to the NHL, adding that fighting aspect.
Did you like an enforcer?
Yeah, it was something that it was. If you're playing at the same level as somebody else, but if I add that extra that extra thing to my game, which ended up being, I'm going to protect my teammates, and people on the other team are going to be scared to hit our top players because they know they'll have to fight me. That was something that elevated my status in the hockey world.
I love that. So you talk about hockey, NHL. We're there. You're there. Now, you talk about fights. Give me your top 3 hardest guys on that ice you had to deal with.
Well, there was so many guys, and even guys that playing in the minors, trying to make it to the NHL, that maybe some people don't even really know about. But there was always I fought Steve McIntyre, who was probably the biggest killer out in the NHL at the time. He was 6'7" or something, 280, I don't know, 260.
Like basketball numbers right there.
He's a big boy, and I fought him once. He killed one. He just crushed one of my line mates, and I had no choice. I had to go in and fight him. But there was guys that I had to fight, and I played on a regular basis that were kind of similar guys to me. Like the Milan Lucic, Chris Neal. Those are guys that were very tough guys, and that were in kind of even though they weren't in my weight category, they were a lot bigger than me, but they were kind of in that I had to fight them. Like the real big heavyweights, I wasn't really expected to fight those guys unless I had to. But there was lots of I think those guys, Chris Neal, Milan Lucic, even Rick Rippon was a tough middleweight, kind of my size, but a real tough fighter, and we always had some great battles. So there's guys. Cam Jansen was another tough guy. I probably fought him 10 times throughout my career. Like, I think I have the most fights against him in my career, and he was a killer, right?
I hear you. So camaraderie, like you fight these guys after the game. Do you guys like meet up after, hang out, talk, text each other? What's up? Talk about that.
No. I mean, I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens nowadays. But because nowadays, I mean, you could follow somebody on Instagram, right? Like,
right.
We didn't really have that. Like, we used to chirp guys. I used to give it to the younger guys because you'd see them at the red line during warm up. Kind of talking with somebody on another team, and we'd be like, what, are you having a tickle fight over there or what? Like, we're about to play a hockey game and you're over there talking to the, like, we would go out, if I had a buddy on the other team, we'd go for dinner the night before or something. But once it was game day, they weren't your friend anymore.
No.
But after the game, the guys that I fought, the enforcers, those were guys, if they did happen to stay over and you ran into them, that would be the guy that you'd go and shake hands with and say, hey, what's up? Like, good, good battle or whatever, and have a beer. Like Cam Jansen, like I said, I just fought him probably the most in my career, but we still chat to this day. I've went on his, he does a podcast as well. And
okay.
Yeah.
Shout outs to him then.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So, there's guys that, those are guys I think we have that mutual respect because we were kind of doing the same jobs, right? So
I love that.
You respect each other, yeah.
I love that. What do you miss about the NHL? You're not playing anymore. What's the biggest thing you miss?
It's a tough question. The money.
This guy said the man said the money. He said the money. Oh, wow. Okay. Hello?
You know how many things I could have said? Oh, my God.
He said the money.
The money.
Wow. No, but all jokes aside, what did you miss? What have you missed?
That camaraderie, that being in the dressing room with all the guys, traveling on the road, just that life, the intensity and the during playoffs, like that playoff time, just that intensity every night. That's on your mind. Just who you're playing, what you're going to do, trying to get yourself ready for that game, the mental battles that you go through, even though they're tough, you miss them at the end, right? You miss them when they're gone. Those mental battles that you have to, if you're in a slump, how you're going to get yourself out, and if you're, I got to fight some guy tonight, you lose some sleep. As much as I hated it, you miss it when it's gone.
Absolutely.
So stuff like that. But being in that dressing room with all the guys, I think is something that,
Hometown hero, London, Ontario. You played for the Montreal Canadiens, New York Rangers. I know it's not in no specific order. Or am I on order?
No, you're not on order.
You want to give us the order?
Sure. Sorry. Calgary.
Okay.
Phoenix. Calgary.
Okay.
New York. Montreal, Vancouver.
Out of all those cities, what was the dopest city, dopest experience?
For me, New York.
Why is that?
I love New York. Just living right in Manhattan. I mean, that's my type of. When I got there. So I was playing in Calgary. That was my first couple years in the NHL. You're kind of a rookie. You kind of just going through. You're just trying to make it, and then you get to New York, and it's like, okay, now I made it. And just the organization, the way they treat you. You start going. You're going to plays. You're going to Knicks games. You're sitting courtside beside Spike Lee.
Really?
Yeah. You just they just free tickets. Hey, I want to go to the Knicks game tonight. Yeah, sure. And then you're sitting. You're Saturday Night Live, whatever. You want to go to a restaurant that's booked for 3 months. You're in that night, right? So you're treated first class. No, I don't think any other organization in the NHL treats their players like the New York Rangers do. So, and I think that's why everybody even wants to play there as well. So, I just love the city. I love the vibe. It's New York City. You're living in Manhattan.
I like that.
Taking a cab to the game.
So being out in New York when you were playing for the team, was there anybody that you ran into that you were just like, being at a basketball game, being at a restaurant, you're like, oh damn, oh shoot, wait, you're here?
Oh yeah. I mean. All of them. Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, all the celebs.
All the celebs.
Yeah, it became just natural. Like when I first got there, the first couple times, this is, just going out. I think the first night was, Bill Murray, Jeremy Piven, right? Like that was when Entourage was big too, right?
Yeah.
You're just the first bar I went to the first night. I was like, and the guys didn't even really, bat an eye to it. It was just normal. That's just, you saw all the models, you saw the actors and actresses. They were just there.
Model life, eh?
The model life.
They're just out there.
The models are everywhere. The models are everywhere. Yeah.
How controversial do I want to get on this show now?
Yeah.
But I'll keep it respectable. Keep it PG-13. So hockey's done. Everything's done. You're back in the city. You're back in London, Ontario. We're in your gym. How did that vision start now? Put everything together for me.
Well, when I played, one of the things that kind of helped me get to the NHL was what I did away from the rink. And I worked really hard. I was, you're up at 7 a.m. on the bike or you're in the weight room. I worked my butt off. And I think the way that I trained, I wanted to always pass down that knowledge. All the experiences that I've been through, I've done a lot of things right and I've done a lot of things wrong. So with that, you gain a lot of knowledge. So that knowledge that you want to share with the younger generation. So that's something I always wanted to do. And I finally, after a few years, and then during COVID was kind of, I was kind of thinking about it during there, but then kind of COVID hit, and so I finally got that kick in the butt, and was like, I got to do it because this is what I've always wanted to do. So I finally stepped up and got it done, and found a partner that wanted to do it with me, and because the business side of things is something totally different, right? So you need some help, and I got the right help, and now we're doing it.
That's good. I like that. So you talk about things that you've done wrong. What's one thing you've done wrong, and how do you pass that information to the younger generation?
Oh man, things I've done wrong. I mean, one thing I always did wrong when it comes to hockey, I wish I trained harder during the seasons. During the hockey season, I was always tired, right? I was always mentally fatigued and physically fatigued, and it kind of, I kind of used it as an excuse. Sorry. So after a game, I'd block a shot. My ankle hurt. I got in a fight. My hands hurt. my head hurt, maybe I got punched in the head, right? So I would kind of, our training was more after games, and I was always very, I kind of used that fatigue as kind of like, all right, I'll work out tomorrow, I'll work out after next game. And I wish that I trained kind of harder during the seasons. That was one of the things I wish I did differently. I trained very hard in the off seasons, and then that mental grind during the season that I even talked about earlier. I wish I kind of battled through that a little more. I wish I did more on that side of things.
Yeah. So then, how does that convert over to the gym with the clientele that's in this?
Well, that's this is I'm training. I got about 12 hockey teams right now. I'm building a program that I want to start doing some summer training and getting those kind of teenage, probably junior hockey players and stuff. And those are kids that you're not only training them in the gym, you're training them outside of the gym as well. You're training them doing all that mental preparation and how to handle things that are thrown at you, whether it's getting cut, maybe you don't like your coach, maybe you're not playing as much. How do you battle through all that stuff? Because I've been through it all. I don't think there's anybody better that has been through everything. I've been through everything in my career, so with that I have a lot of experience that I can share, right? That stuff I'm going to continue to pass down to the younger generation.
Yeah. So are we seeing like another location maybe opening? Are you going to franchise this thing out?
Yeah. So this is a bit of a hybrid. This is a hybrid gym. So what we do a lot of classes in here, right? BP8 classes, which isn't. That's not for our athletes. So the hockey training is something totally different that I do in here. I do that more after our classes are done. I get the teams in, but we do want to expand for sure. We do want to, we're looking to expand. Even my partner, Mike, he's from Trinidad. So
Mike Trini.
What? Trini, yeah.
Okay, see, I didn't even know that.
Trini, yeah. Trini.
Shout out to him, man.
Trini is my partner. So okay. Trini is, he's already got a few of these ready to open up in Trinidad, and then we'd like to even expand from there. He likes the islands out there, right? So yeah. And I don't mind going to visit to open them all up. So
you got a party out there,
and then we're looking at spaces here in London as well, and hopefully the sky's the limit for us on what we want to do.
Love that for you, man.
The hockey training side of things, this gym is good for now. As we grow, maybe I do need a big training facility, right? So I don't know what the future holds, but we're building. This has been open for 2 months, basically 3 months. So we're getting there, and we're continuing to learn every day. Continuing to kind of grow our business and reach out to the community.
Talk about community and even networking, the importance with that, right? You say you're friends with Mike. We got Claudia here. Got my friend here, WilliamsK. Yeah, I was going to do that too. Mm-hmm. Anyways, but for you, what is something you can say to the business owners that want to start up of what not to do when it comes down to building collaboration and networking?
I don't know, because we haven't been open that long. I don't know what kind of mistakes that we've made, and I think we're doing everything right. I mean, I think for me, the most important thing was finding, the right partner and someone with the same, we didn't have the same vision at the start. I wanted a training facility. He wanted, to do the classes. He's more of a big box gym guy that he wants to make into a smaller gym. But we both got on the same wavelength. So I think finding maybe that partner when opening a business. And then one thing that we've done is, one thing that I always preached was, I don't want to you hear gyms and other fitness people, they bash each other, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, we're here.
They kind of they put it, and it's like, we're all on the same, we're all trying to promote health and fitness. We're all trying to help each other. Like we have, I have Sam Stout, he owns a gym downtown, Adrenaline, MMA guys, and, we promote each other. It's not like, I have my hockey guys in here. I had Sammy come and train them. Hey, go to his gym. If you want to learn more about fighting and balance and coordination, it's great for your training. So I'm not going to say, we should be hyping each other up. There's the Lost Cycle girls that we've had in here. They're another gym. You could potentially be competing, but we're not. We're saying, hey, the Lost Cycle girls here, this is a great thing to add to your regimen. You can come in here and work out, but maybe once a week you go do a bike ride over there, right? And same, like I go there. I go and I've done a couple classes. So we should be promoting each other and not kind of bashing each other or saying, "Oh, that gym sucks."
I love that. I love that you say that. No,
I even had an idea of why don't we get a gym owner or another fitness person out of London? Maybe they work at another gym or they coach at another gym, but they come and coach a class here or something. We say, "Hey, this is so and so," and they're doing something fun over here as well. Like I think it's
innovation,
a different approach.
It's innovation.
The fitness world should look into.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was in the health and fitness profession, right?
Yeah.
And coming into this, working at the first gym that I worked at here in the city, there was a lot of, I would say, BS that was like that competition, that ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
And that's why I love when you say about bringing other people from other gyms.
Mm-hmm.
But and not looking at it as, oh, this is competition, because there's a piece of the pie for everyone.
Yeah.
Right? There's how many people in here right now? There's 4 people. We have one pie in front of us.
Yeah.
We can cut that in 4 different places.
Yeah.
Right? He might eat the whole thing though. Right?
Yeah.
He always snacking. But you know how it is, besides the point. But with that being said, it's like we have so much to offer. And it's like, even with me, the 18 weeks, doing the boxing, things like that, it's like I was preaching to everybody. I'm like, listen, next year, fight to end. You got to do it. Your name has come up a lot of times, and you're already being recruited to do it. So you got to put your application process in.
What is it? The
fight to end for the charity boxing.
Oh yeah,
you're doing it. It's already confirmed.
It's already confirmed.
Some people already said it. They're gonna pull up on you here and just be like, "Yo, sign this application."
Sign it. Okay. Yeah. Do they know how many concussions I've had?
Well, now that's in this episode. You can't edit that one out. Well, you know what? It'd be nice for you to be there, though. But no, it's just like collaboration's everything. Yeah. Communication. This is what makes the world go round. Yeah. And it's like, maybe it's not always about money, but it's about just getting the name out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. That eventually creates cash.
Yeah, and it's even in the hockey when I had people in here and they were seeing me train the teams and stuff. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna squash everybody in the hockey training world." I'm like, "No, you know how many kids there are that are training out there? You know how many hockey teams there are? Like, why we should all just be, I know like maybe other hockey trainers like, oh, Brandon doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't say that about any other hockey trainer. Everybody knows their own thing. Everybody, you don't. It's like,
but why do you think that happens though?
Because that's what people do. That's what people do.
So let me ask you this question.
I think that's a natural human thing.
I'm going to turn up the heat here. Do you think it's a London thing, or is it a people thing?
I think maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
London's not a huge city, but it still has that small town vibe.
And I think like from who you collaborate with and things like that, it pays to who you are. You know what I mean? Because I don't even know if you remember our very first conversation. That's when I was at Apple at the time. Yeah. I was behind the Genius Bar, and I was helping you, and I was like, yo, this is kind of crazy how we have the same mutual kind of people that we know. Because you went to Regina Monday, right?
RMC,
and things like that. Yeah. So it's like, for me, I'm just like, wait, the hell? You know what I mean? So it's just crazy how everything just comes full circle. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how life is.
Yeah, for sure. And so Trini, we went to high school together, but I was grade 12. He was grade 13. And he was more my sister's age, but we ran into each other. I think it might have been just before COVID, like 2019 or something, after I retired. And he said something to me, hey, if you want me to build you a gym, he was over at my place, just kind of, I don't know, after the bar or something like that. And he was like, hey, and we just had this talk. And so it always was in my brain. And then that day when I was like, I'm doing this, I need to do a gym. I need to do what I wanted to do for after I, retired. That was always what I wanted to do after I retired. And I finally did it. But Mike was the first person that I messaged. I said, all right, I'm ready. Let's do this.
For sure. No, I love that. Yeah. So do you think when you're training the hockey kids, you're going to bring some of your old teammates maybe in here, help run a few classes?
I would love to. A lot of my old teammates, though, not everybody's from London, right?
Yeah.
So
you're not going to fly them out? Pay them
I mean, what I do have, especially for the summer program that I want to build, it's kind of a 3-month summer program. I would definitely love to have some my old buddies, some guest speakers, or some guest instructors for the week. I would definitely love to do that, and yeah, it just depends how much it's going to cost me. I'm going to tell them, hey, remember?
You can't do no freebies?
Remember all those dinners I bought you? I know Brendan Gallagher owes me a free trip here. So
a free trip, eh? I guess he might be seeing this now.
For all the dinners that I bought him.
He might see this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm here for it. I think one of the biggest things that I like with you from the times of just watching you on TV, sitting here sharing the space with you on the podcast, is that you have that humble side to you. You know what I mean? And I think that it speaks to the testament of who you are, which is a great thing. You know what I mean? I feel like some of us, as we're entrepreneurs, business owners, all that, it can get a little tough. It can get a little challenging, right? What keeps you up at night, though?
Wanting this gym, wanting this to succeed, wanting my dreams to come true, right? I think that kept you up when my dream was to play in the NHL.
Yeah.
So I did that, and now my next dream is to build a great facility that works, and also build a great hockey program. Build a great training hockey program. That's stuff I think about a lot. But I put a lot of heart and soul into this, and you just want to see it. You want to make sure you want to see it work. So I think that's definitely what keeps me up.
I like that. Like you say that. What do you think is missing right now in the game? Like the kids are not understanding. Is it the rule changes?
I think what I've noticed in the game is. These kids, they all know how to stick handle now and freaking pick the puck up through their legs and do all, but you don't see them, they don't understand the game as much as we used to. I see a lot of tunnel vision out there, and it just, you even see, talking to, the guys who are on the London Knights, and they're like, we get these 15, 16-year-old kids that come in, and we have to teach them what the strong side is. Like they don't know. Kids aren't taught the game anymore. I don't even know if they watch a whole hockey game, because nobody can sit down and watch a whole hockey game without going on their phone or their TikTok or playing video games. Like I used to sit and watch. I'd go to the London Knights games, and I'd sit there and I would watch that game, and then I would watch the Leafs game the next night. Like that's how I learned how to play hockey. Because I watched the game, and I didn't have a phone, I didn't have video games, so I was just watching it.
Fundamentals.
The base, just understanding the game, right? So that's something that I definitely want to implement into my hockey program. Is teaching the game, teaching the proper way.
Because you see it in the NBA, it's like so many people say Steph Curry broke the game. Kind of did, right? Yeah. Because everybody now wants to shoot threes. Yeah. From the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to 4 to the 5 position, everybody wants to shoot threes. But a lot of people are missing the fundamental. And it's like when you see guys driving, it's like they drive and they're doing like these off kind of balance floaters, and there's no fundamental set from when like Jordan and them were playing, where the game was harder, was challenging. Now with certain rule changes, I get it, because you have a product on TV, you have to sell. Yeah. It's like the game is to the point where it's so fast that guys are not even playing defense. Yeah. You can see guys like basket hanging. Yeah. Guys are just jogging, they're trotting on the court. Yeah. NFL is a whole nother conversation, but it's like for hockey, as the little bit that I still watch it, it's like, yes, the game is faster, but it's like there's that component. Yeah. Right? And we were on the same age. So it's like when they got rid of the, what was it, the blue line?
Yeah, the red line.
Red line. My fault there. Red line, blue line. It is what it is. But when they got rid of the line
passes,
right? Yeah, it's like it's the game. I feel like yes, it got faster, but it kind of changed a little bit.
They got rid of which is good. A lot of the hooking and holding, and you can't hold anybody up. So that's definitely one thing that's really sped up the game. Is there's definitely holding anybody up anymore. We used to be able to lock on. So it's definitely changed, but there's still, you can still teach the basics of, positional play and the proper way to play the game, and just teach that vision. You see that, like I said, I watch a lot of times and I'm like, oh my God, there's a guy wide open over there, but they have this, I got the puck, I'm going to the net.
Yep.
And
See it
it's
in all
like,
sports.
well, what about the white guy wide open over there?
Right.
Like, you didn't see him?
Right.
So
it's crazy like that, and I feel like we have a lot in common with, as far as like we understand the game. Like when I was playing basketball, it's like you had to watch basketball.
Yeah.
I was in the school of like, and this is gonna obviously age me, right? But like watching, one of my favorite players at the time was Sean Kemp. Yeah. And everybody was all about, they see the guy throwing down the dunks, the Rain Man, all of this. But I'm like, if you watch what he was doing, he was ahead of his game at his position. Yeah. At one point in time, you could have said he was like top 5 small forward, power forward in those times. And some people were like, growing up, like, how do you like Sean Kemp? Was it the dunking? I was like, because he's a hustle player. Yeah. Then he gets traded, goes to Cleveland, and then all hell broke loose. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just like you see it with certain guys in the league. That's why when you see the guys like the Sidney Crosbys come and he's about to be on his way out, now you have Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard, and you're like, shit, these young kids are like, they're here for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that the kids can see the flair, but have to go back to the fundamentals. Yeah. Go back to the great ones.
Yeah. Well, even Ovechkin, he finally learned that he had to play defense. Yeah. And when they won the Stanley Cup, he said, I finally learned. I played more like, he played a little more like Crosby, right?
You have to, for sure.
He backchecked. He played a full game, full hockey game of both ends of the ice. So and he even admitted to that change. He said, I finally learned. And Dale Hunter was the one that when he got brought up to coach Washington, kind of halfway through the year there. And he was benching Ovechkin, like saying, if you're not, imagine benching Ovi.
Right.
But he wasn't playing defense. And Dale was like, you're not going to play defense, you're going to sit. And then, that after that didn't really work out, Dale went back to London the next year. And Ovechkin, when he won, he said, well, just ask Dale Hunter. When they said, what did you change? He goes, ask Dale Hunter.
That's what's up. I love that.
I finally realized that Dale was right.
Yeah.
4 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever, I realized that Dale was right.
I think there's parts of sports that needs to bring back the old school coaching and the culture, right? Mm-hmm. It's not all about the new school. And I think like with sports and like the digital age that we're in, everything is now about Instagram or TikTok. Yeah. That's the thing about the byproduct of the NBA. A lot of these players are all about Instagram now. It's all about the new latest fashion, this and that. I get it's branding. But it's like, I feel like use your platform to amplify a better message. It's not all about the Balenciaga or the Louis Vuitton and the this and the that and the, it's about how can we mentor these kids to become better and understand the games of sports, you know what I mean? And stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. That Instagram and TikTok's a different world now. Mm-hmm. But, not everybody's caught up in it, but definitely there are a lot of people that are.
Yeah. It's good. You're advertising, right? Yeah. But I feel like you gotta not get into that warp of just be always and be constantly posting and doing this and doing that.
Don't lose focus on your job, your actual job.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
So
before we get out of here, that little piece that you talked about, being distracted. How did you not become distracted when it's like the bright lights, it's the expensive dinners, it's hanging out with this person, hanging out with that person. You go back home, you go back to your hotel. Like, how do you make that altering shift to get back on the mindset?
Yeah, and that's something I think that is for some people it can come natural, but it was always like game day was just always different, right? When my mind was would switch on a game day, and even when you got to practice, right? It was time to work, and when you're at the rink. But to say that he never got distracted is not true. It definitely got distracted, right? And but I was always one that when it was time to work, it was time to work. And if you want to hoot with the Owls at nights, you got to soar with the Eagles in the morning. I think is a good quote. So always make sure you did that. But I always made sure that I was working. I was working at practice. I was working, I was mentally prepared for the games, and I knew what my team needed, and I always knew the situation, right? So there was games. Okay, we've lost 2 in a row. I got to start this game off with a fight, right? So those are always fun days.
I feel you, man.
Yeah, so.
I feel you. Well, I do appreciate you.
Yeah,
we did this podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I always like to bring the tradition. I always say 1% better. Yeah. How do you explain it? Explain it for 2024. Yeah. How do we become 1% better?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's another thing. Just going back to, you get up, you got to do the work. Like every day, you got to mentally prepare, right? Like just today, me jumping in my pool, my cold tub, right? It's like I don't want to do it, but you do it. You do it because you want to get better. I didn't want to go for a run yesterday, but I made sure I did it. It's a mental. It's all up here for that 1% better. It's just something that you have to push yourself to do, and when you do it, the feeling that you get is so much better than if you didn't do it. If you didn't do it, that's another thing that I said, what causes you not to sleep at night? And you asked me, that might be one thing. If I didn't do something that I feel I should have done, then that will play on my mind that night. So if I do that, then I sleep better. So,
jeez, I love it, my man. Yeah. Pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks, bud.